Hi everyone, while you were at music, I came into one of the grade 4 classes to read to you. And then this massive female who 50 years ago had been the world famous opera singer suddenly burst into song. My diamonds are all over the ocean, my diamonds are over the sea, my diamonds were pinched from my bedroom, oh bring back my diamonds to me. We were all bowled over by the power of the lady's lungs. That means she was really loud. If you've got big lungs, we say in English, if you've got big lungs, you can make a really loud sound. So we were all bowled over, surprised by the power of the lady's lungs, that all of us, except the pelican, who had to keep his beak closed, joined in the chorus. Bring back, oh bring back my diamonds to me. Bring back, oh bring back my diamonds to me. Calm yourself, Henrietta, said the Duke. He pointed to the pelican and said, this clever bird, this brilliant burglar-catching creature has saved the day. The bounder's in his beak. Oh, here's the police. The Duchess, remember the Duke's wife is called the Duchess, stared at the pelican. The pelican stared at the Duchess and gave her a wink. Can you wink? Try and wink at your partner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If he's in there, cried the Duchess, why don't you let him out? Then you can run him through with that famous sword of yours. I want my diamonds. Open your beak, birdie. No, shouted the Duke. He's got a pistol. He'll murder us all. Someone must have called the police because suddenly no less than 4 squad cars, 4 police cars, came racing towards us with their sirens screaming. Within seconds, we were surrounded by 6 policemen, and the Duke was shouting to them, the villain you're after is inside the beak of that bird. Stand by to collar him. And to the pelican, he said, get ready to open. Are you ready? Steady. Go, open up. The pelican opened his giant beak, and immediately the policeman pounced upon the burglar, who was crouching inside. They snatched his pistol away from him and dragged him out and put handcuffs on his wrists. Great Scott, said the policeman. It's the cobra himself. That's interesting. The cobra, that's a type of snake. The cobra is the cleverest, most dangerous cat burglar in the world, said the chief of police. He must have climbed up the drain pipe. The cobra can climb up anything. That's not his real name, but they've nicknamed him the cobra because cobras can climb up pipes and trees. They wrap themselves around, they pull really tight with their muscles, and they squeeze really tight and they pull themselves up. So they said they've nicknamed him the cobra because he can climb anything. And they're really happy that they've caught him because they've been looking him for a long time. He's world famous. So all over the world, they've been looking for him. My diamonds, screamed the Duchess. I want my diamonds. Where are my diamonds? Here they are, cried the chief of police, fishing great handfuls of jewellery from the burglar's pocket. Well, that burglar had really stolen a lot. The Duchess was so overcome with relief that she fell to the ground in a faint. When the police had taken away the fearsome burglar known as, you remember? The cobra, and the fainting Duchess had been carried into the house by her servants, the old Duke stood on the lawn with the giraffe, the pelican, the monkey, and me. Remember, me is Billy, who's the one telling the story. Look, cried the monkey, that rotten burglar's bullet has made a hole in poor Pelly's beak. That's done it, said the pelican. Now we won't be any use to holding water when we clean windows. Oh no. Of course the water's going to drain out. Don't worry about that, my dear Pelly, said the Duke, patting him on the beak. My chauffeur will soon patch over it the same way he mends the tire of the Rolls. The Rolls is a Rolls-Royce, a fancy car. Right now, we have far more important things to talk about than a little hole in the beak. We stood there waiting to see what the Duke was going to say next. Now listen to me, all of you. Those diamonds are worth millions, millions and millions of dollars. And you have saved them. Whoa, you know what else is worth millions and millions? Some of those Kandinskys. Terry and I did some research and we found out that one Kandinsky was sold for $21 million. Someone paid $21 million for that Kandinsky. The monkey nodded. Giraffe smiled. The pelican blushed. His cheeks went pink. No reward is too great for you, the Duke went on. I am therefore going to make you an offer which I hope will give you pleasure. I hereby invite you, Giraffe, Pelican, and the monkey to live on my estate for the rest of their lives. An estate is a big piece of land, usually with a castle or a really big house and lots of maybe little other houses, sometimes a lake. I shall give you my best and largest hay barn as your private house. Heating, showers, a kitchen, anything else you desire will be installed for you. I guess it's the hay barn because it's a hay barn where farmers put their hay is really, really high. So the giraffe will fit in there. A normal house wouldn't be any use to a giraffe. His head would get stuck in the ceiling. In return, you will keep my windows clean and pick my cherries and my apples. If the pelican is willing, perhaps he will also give me a ride in his beak now and again. A pleasure, Your Grace, cried the pelican. Would you like a ride now? Later, said the Duke. I'll have one after tea. At this point, the giraffe gave a nervous little cough and looked up in the sky. Is there a problem? Asked the Duke. If there is, do please let me hear it. I don't like to sound ungrateful and pushy, mumbled the giraffe, but we do have one very pressing problem. A pressing problem is an urgent problem. We are all absolutely, let's have a guess, turn and tell your neighbour what you think. We are all absolutely, what's the problem? Famished. That means super hungry. We haven't eaten for days. My dear giraffe, cried the Duke. How very thoughtless of me. Food is no problem around here. I'm afraid it is not quite as easy as all that. I'm afraid it's not quite as easy as all that, said the giraffe. You see, I myself happen to be... Don't tell me, cried the Duke. I know it already. I am an expert on animals from Africa. The moment I saw you, I knew you were no ordinary giraffe. You are a Geranius giraffe, are you not? You're absolutely right, Your Grace, the giraffe said. But the trouble with us is that we only eat... Oh, you don't have to tell me that either, said the Duke. I know perfectly well that Geranius giraffes can only eat one kind of food. Am I not right in thinking that the pink and purple flowers of the tinkle tinkle tree are your only diet? Oh, what? This is not true. They've made this up. That he can only eat pink and purple flowers from the tinkle tinkle tree. Yes, sighed the giraffe. That has been my problem ever since I arrived on these shores. That means in this country. And it's England because they have dukes. And they talked about Hampshire House, and that's in England. There is no problem at all here at Hampshire House, said the Duke. Look over there, my dear giraffe. and you will see the only plantation of tinkle tinkle trees in the entire country. The giraffe looked. She gave a gasp of astonishment, and at first she was so overwhelmed she couldn't even speak. Great tears of joy began running down her cheeks. "Help yourself," said the Duke. "Eat all you want." "Oh, my sainted souls," gasped the giraffe. "Oh, my naked neck. I can't believe what I'm seeing." The next moment she was galloping. That's what giraffes and horses when they're running. She was galloping full speed across the lawn and whinnying in excitement. And the last we saw of her, she was burying her head in the beautiful pink and purple flowers that blossomed at the tops of all the trees around her. That was lucky that the Duke has a big forest of tinkle tinkle trees, and that's all the giraffe eats. Just going to see what time it is. Oh, I can keep reading. "As for the monkey," the Duke went on, "I think he will also be pleased with what I have on offer. All over my estate there are thousands of giant nut trees." "Nuts!" said the monkey. "What type of nuts?" "Walnuts, of course," said the Duke. "Walnuts!" screamed the monkey. "Not walnuts. You don't really mean walnuts. You're pulling my leg. You're joking. You can't be serious. I must have heard you wrong." "There's a walnut tree right over there," the Duke said, pointing. The monkey took off like an arrow, and a few seconds later he was high up in the branches of the walnut tree, cracking the nuts and guzzling what was inside. So walnuts are round, about that big, and they look a bit like a brain, actually. They're brown, and they've got a hard shell, and you crack it. It's quite hard to crack. I remember cracking them when I was a kid with a hammer. We'd put them on the table outside, not inside, push the hammer down and crack them, and then there's a nut inside. "That leaves only Pelly," said the Duke. "Yes," said Pelly nervously, "but I'm afraid that what I eat does not grow on trees. I only eat fish. Would it be too much trouble, I wonder, if I were to ask you for a reasonably fresh piece of haddock or cod each day?" "Haddock or cod?" shouted the Duke, spitting out the words as though they made a bad taste in his mouth. "Cast your eyes, my dear Pelly, over there to the south." The pelican looked across the vast rolling estate, and in the distance he saw a giant river. "That's the River Hemp," cried the Duke. "The finest salmon in the river in the whole of Europe." "Salmon?" screamed the pelican. "Not salmon? Do you really mean salmon?" "It's full of salmon," said the Duke, "and I own it. You can help yourself." Before he had finished speaking, the pelican was in the air. The Duke and I watched him as he flew full speed towards the river. We saw him circle over the water, dive down and disappear. A few moments later, he was up in the air again, and he had a giant salmon in his beak. Whoa. That is page 57. Okay, so you have to remember page 57.